Hi, beautifuls and beloveds. So we're all taking a break here. Part 7, I believe, of Bad Guys and Spy Guys, or whatever we called this. Hold on, where do I want to put this? So my beloved will be right back. And let me continue here. So where were we? I really can't read this too well. Vulnerabilities. Anyway, whatever it was good. Oh, God. So you want to assess the vulnerabilities, but look, there are so many that we could give an example of. The list, unfortunately. And we are doing our best, but it's unfortunate. You want to be able to trust these third parties and affiliates. It boosts business, and I don't want people to get paranoid or totally freaked out over this. Just know your sources. It takes time sometimes to get to know that. But a lot of the things that we are doing, hopefully will put an end to this, not only for us, but anybody who may come after us. Not meaning once we're deceased, but, anybody. We've helped people start their own companies. We've actually, a lot of dancers that we've had, they've gone on to really great things. We love that. We want that. I think they now will understand. It's like, what happened to my dance, my video? Because sometimes we allowed people to choreograph. It's like, guys, we were sabotaged. We didn't know at the time what was happening. And now we've been going back and we've been finding old things. We are going to get your stuff to you guys. But please, legitimately, there wasn't an instruction manual that came along with this. We were sabotaged, and in some places we didn't know if you were an enemy or not, and we're like, no, we're not going to do this for this person because they're going to try to hurt us here. And this was just so chaotic. Whoever would have thought that this could happen to you, to us? I need my little helper here. This is under protection strategies, again, off the FBI's website. Do not store private information vital to your company on any device that connects to the internet. Well, gee, thanks a lot. That was an afterthought. You would think no duh, but not really, because, you have to have a way of collecting the information. And we can't necessarily always give out our address, because upon occasion, our residence was the business address. In between locations, what are you going to do? We didn't trust certain, places where we were hanging our business license, or really, and our communication was being thwarted via mail, regular mail, and we have evidence of that. We showed it to you already. And so it's like, what do? You're juggling all these balls trying to figure out what to do. So really, if you had something happen and it was not favorable, please let us know so we can fix it. Obviously, we're the good guys. We're trying to fix things. Always have been. But, we've been victimized and victims of this. We're going to be victors now. I don't like that victim BS. So, yeah. We've been working on it. But here's the thing, too. A lot of devices that were never hooked up to the internet, like that, different cameras, they were refurbished, and it's like, somebody's accessing them, because we tested it, unbeknownst to the bad guys, and things that we said only via this ended up online, and I'm like, we didn't put it up, we kept it stored, and so, be careful buying refurbished items, because they could have been already on the internet. Be careful with any items, because if somebody infiltrated, unbeknownst to the companies, the companies themselves, they could have made the device upload or access prior, and yet the box will say it's a new item. I mean, really, you have to consider all this. So, my question is any electronic device safe now? Even brand new ones. I want to know. And what's going to protect us? So I think things need to be set up in a certain way. And I'm working on getting laws, and not only investigations, but laws passed to ensure that this never happens. In some cases there are these laws, but they're not enforced. Again, this has something to do with foreign everything. A lot of these other countries, but things are changing. Thank you, President Trump. I really am getting sick and tired of these people, and I want to take issue up with them who say that he's not doing good things for our country. That's pretty major, okay? They just don't like it. Not the countries. I'm talking about the people who are his critics. They don't like it because possibly they're part of the they who want this gatekeeper, come and go, go ahead, pay me, go ahead. Who doesn't want a free meal ticket type situation? You know, where you're enslaving me to get intellectual property, ideas, and all this stuff. That's stopping now. So I'm going to have a bit of an issue with you, and I don't care what you think of me. Use up-to-date software, security tools, many firewalls, stop incoming threats, but do not restrict outbound data. Competitive intelligent hackers try to retrieve data stored on your network. Well, I take issue with this whole thing because it's not just hackers. It can, in some cases, be people who are setting it up within the company, knowingly, and some unknowingly, to have so-called hackers. They work for them. Hey, go ahead and hack the site for us. I know it's ours, but hack our site anyway. You know, that kind of a thing. It's a lot of BS. So that's the thing, because we took, in some cases, we took perfect precaution, but we didn't realize the spies were within. Not our company, but the company that we were using as a third party or an affiliate. And in some cases, the companies didn't even know that they were infiltrated like a Trojan horse. But not always. Sometimes the companies were the Trojan horse intentionally. Does that make sense? Educate. You know what? Excuse me. Entertain yourselves for a minute. I need to get my assisting eyewear thing here. Where is it? It's disappearing. Great. Hold on, guys. I know it's boring for you to watch nothing on the screen. I don't know where the heck it went. I am having trouble. Hold on. I'm here. I'm here. Sing a song amongst yourselves. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so obviously we're going to cross dissolve, fade that, because that's horrible production. And that I don't care either. Sorry. Okay. Use firewalls. Educate employees on spear phishing email tactics. Establish protocols for quarantining suspicious email. In this case, the suspicious email was actually coming from a third-party provider providing a service for us, and they were actually sending to us our own private information, such as our own phone numbers, our own email addresses. And I'm like, why are you sending this? We know this information. And then all of a sudden that email got deleted, and it wasn't by any one of us. It just disappeared. Well, we can track that down now that we know certain things. That's not a problem. And these people here are helping us to find it better and quicker than anybody. But yeah, so, you know, the thing that I don't like about what the FBI said, and I'm sorry, but I'm being critical here, and I'm critiquing. You see how I'm also elaborating on where it can come from? It can actually come from the actual source, meaning the third party that you're asking to do a service for you, they can actually be the fishers. Be careful. And we need all of these third party things. You know, for us, when you're in a crisis situation, you need to, you know, quarantine yourself and get away from everything that you possibly can as quick as you can. I know that money is an issue for everybody like us, so it's not always feasible to do. Reach out to the proper people to get help and make people aware. And ensure your employees are aware of and are trained to avoid unintended disclosures. Yeah, that can happen a lot too. But also know that the so-called unintended disclosures can actually be spies. And they're saying, oh, it was unintentional. It could be. I've unintentionally done things myself. And it wasn't what it could have looked like. It's, oh God, see, this is the fine line we were talking about, but be aware. So we have a non-disclosure form that's signed, but there are ways to sneak it in. So let's say if we use a certain carrier to deliver our mail, anybody along the way, and we've had somebody who was employed by, I won't say the name, but was one of those, and they said, oh, I can easily see how that could happen, because along the way you're entrusting people to take that mail, courier, whatever it is, whatever form it is being carried, that is not being, what's this? Open it up, put it in a new envelope once you've already gotten pictures or something like that, and then all of a sudden, or like how we said, the glue was not activated and there was a little piece of tape. Well, in transit, anybody can, oh, okay, and put it right back in. And I'm like, that's not procedural. Okay? It's one thing to use it to ensure, but a tiny little piece of tape like that is not ensuring the seal. Have you seen us mail our stuff? We wrap that thing, the seams, everything, because we don't trust anybody anymore. And I'm sorry that you have to be the recipient of our mail being sent to you that way, but it helps ensure things. We also take pictures and video of the process, especially if we care about it and sensitive material. This way, we can say, that was not what was sent in there. Where is it? Why was it replaced? That's another question you have to ask. So we make sure that everything is right. President Trump, we sent you a 471-page document. We need to make sure that you received it, because something funny is going on. We need to make sure that every single piece of paper is exactly what we authored. We have a few little code things in there. So you make sure. We're going to make sure. You got to double check it. Yeah, so we videotape it so it's documented that, hey, we sent it like this. If it comes any other way, if an envelope comes in any other way, know that it was already open. But, when somebody uses just a little tiny piece of tape, didn't activate the glue, you have to suspect something was up. So we're just making it public that the Copyright Office rejected our copyright. We still own our copyright. Nobody can take it. But the thing is, they rejected it, and we think it was just a fishing expedition. And while that person may or may not have been the actual fisher, who knows, maybe it came in the form of transit. We're just talking about all this. That's my biggest critique of this. I wish that the FBI would actually say all these other means of access, how I'm saying it, because this is what happened. It's not just just look here. You have to say, well, who was actually the third party? Is it a hacker that has nothing to do and no affiliation with the actual place of where the hacking occurred? Or were they, like I said, hey, hack our own site. I know it's our site, but hack it anyway, Ridiculous as it may seem. But, yeah. Or, how they say, oh, and I'm not saying this happened, but we have to consider it based on what we've been through. There's been a leak at such and such company. Okay. Find out and make sure that the leak wasn't intentionally from within to cover their rear ends, to say, oh, well, we can't help it. You see what I'm saying? They're specifically targeting me, and in some cases, the information that they got was part mine and part somebody else, because they're savvy to this now. Excuse me. Where was I? Hold on. Remind employees of security policies on a regular basis through active training and seminars. use signs and computer banners to reinforce security policies. Well, yeah, we just don't let certain people access any of our machinery anymore, and but we're pretty sure of who and where the access came from and why. Yeah, so, you know, it's not going to be, these people are not going to be able to say, oh, it was a third-party hacker from Pluto, and, you know, we can't track them down. It ain't going to go down like that, because we're not so stupid anymore. Document employee education and all other measures you take to protect your intellectual property. Well, you know what? We register our stuff. That's another precaution. But wolves in sheep clothing, like we already have something suspicious. I'm not falsely accusing, we're still getting information, but it looks to us that that could have been the very source, the very thing that we were doing to protect was the gleaning factory, in a sense. So, you know, gotta wonder. Gotta wonder. We do that, by the way. Ensure human resource policies are in place that specifically enhance security and company policies. Create clear incentives for adhering to company security policies. Yeah, how about a friggin' lawsuit? We're very harsh in some of these areas. And to the point, you leak it, you pay for it. Yeah. That's a good incentive. Oh yeah, I'll have a lawsuit. Ask the FBI or other security professionals to provide additional awareness training. The FBI can provide a vulnerability self-assessment tool, which we're aware of. And see, the thing is, what I also want to be critiquing about the FBI thing, you can't hold all of this responsibility on the target or the victims of this, because in many cases we did take precautions, and yet this happened because the very people we were reaching out to for help were the very wolves in sheep's clothing. So FBI, why don't you state this stuff on here? What are you doing to protect people from that? As far as we can tell, nothing yet, unless we haven't covered it, but we haven't found that portion yet. So you might want to secure that crap and fix that. Contact law enforcement. Oh, please, honey. Like 7 Pillars of Society, there are corrupt people within everything, including law enforcement, but we have done our duty. We have recorded every time our portion, meaning it's 100% legal to record your end of the conversation. 100%, because you're not recording the other people. And we give our own board members and us, family, we give permission. And we have security cameras and, you know, but we also have people that take dictation. What are they saying on the other end? Do you know how to access that? We do. We're not telling you how to do that, but, and then we transcribe it, very much what President Trump did. You are ultimately responsible for protecting your own intellectual property. Yeah. They say Congress has been elevating the violation thing, but, and we did take responsible steps, but this goes above and beyond. How could anybody actually foresee this? How could anybody actually say, you know what, we're being listened to, even though we don't have evidence of it yet, we just know it because we're just going to suspect everybody. No, unfortunately, it had to happen first. Then we had to do the bookmarks. Then you have to go through steps, unfortunately. You trust that the products you have, whether it is intentionally or unintentionally done, whether a third party snuck in and was a Trojan horse type thing, whatever the case may be, it could be everything, it could be none of it that we even know of, or it could be a little bit of all of that. You know, you can't just place all the burden and blame on the target, because every time you find a way to block it and get these people out of your lives, they find a way. Remember that? I used that lately, the line from The Aviator, Howard, they always find a way in, or however that line went, right? Yes, they do. They're stubborn, they're nasty, they're evil. They don't want to give up the meal ticket. They want me as the Scheherazade. I don't want to be that for you. You want me to be a ghostwriter? Ghostwriters, they get paid. They get something in exchange. I'm getting nothing but heartache, persecution, everything, just anything horrible you can think of, that's what I've been getting. So, right, I didn't sign up for that. Yeah, economic espionage, theft of trade secrets, mail fraud, wire fraud, interstate transportation of stolen property. That's a form of trafficking. Export control and intellectual property rights, violations that may apply. That's just how you classify in terminology when you go to court. And there's more that we found out. Oh, God. They say contact the FBI, but, there's also issues with that. Because there's insiders. We've met them along the way. So what we're trying to figure out now is all of our phone calls being looped into a trundle, meaning put into an area, redirected to a call-in center, because a couple times, even if they're completely different businesses, or do they share call-in centers? Kind of the legal loophole, but not really, because we can track this down now. And it's like, why does your voice sound familiar to us? Because you sound like somebody that was from this other company. Weird. Or is it that they were infiltrated and they are just infiltrating all these areas that they know we work with, which would be hard to find out. Trash access, our email, which we, safeguarded very, very well. Okay, so here's the thing you need to be careful of. If you if you contact the FBI or anybody about the attacks against you, here's what you have to be careful of, which we've found out. Our very enemies may already have their people in certain places, and our complaints and stuff, we've gone through this. They will be, in some cases not, denied or stalled out, so the deadlines are purposely thwarted and passed without our fault. We had something done where we were complaining, we had everything set up, and then they kept filtering it, sterilizing it in a sense, to the next person. It's like, it didn't even have to go from person A to 10 people later on down, and then it's like, wait, where are the attachments with the original complaint? And then the last person who gets it calls up, and by then they've already shaped the argument. They said, no, we want it to end this way. So I know, call up these people, these very nice people, and ask only certain questions and say that was their complaint. Meanwhile, our real complaint, which was professionally done in dissertation form, which could have been, coming from a lawyer even, and all the evidence was stripped, and on the phone they can just backpedal and push the don't record my voice section. How they do that? That's been done to us too, where they actually, the incriminating part was deleted and spliced in a different way, and it looked like they didn't even say it, when we know that they did say it. That one crucial piece, like, you never said that, or I never said that type of thing. But the point is, hey, they knew I had legal blindness issues and I couldn't read and access the very perfect form that was filled out, and they only took the information that they wanted to sterilize the outcome and to sterilize our communication and to sterilize the complaint form, in a sense. So be very careful of that, beloveds, too. If you reach out to these entities and they really don't want it to go your way, that's also another tactic. And of course, the FBI isn't going to call them own rear ends out on themselves, and I'm not saying that they did that, and I'm not saying that it could happen. I'm just saying it could happen. I'm saying it did happen to us, and it was not related to the FBI, that much I can say. But yeah, and if that happens, Take it as high as you need to and be vocal like we are. That is your best bet. Seek good counsel. If you suspect that the they in your lives have already infiltrated all 7 aspects and whatevers of your society, of your, you have to find somebody who you can trust, like an attorney that can do these things. Somebody in your family, perhaps. Somebody that is trusted as a friend who has somebody in their family. You have to be able to find something or do what we have to do. And, my husband's studying the law, so am I right now. And do your best with it. You don't have to necessarily have an attorney, but you do know you have access to law books, and just do what we're doing. A lot of research. Oh my gosh, a lot of research. That's why it goes quicker the other way to be able to hire them. But, what good does it do you if they are sending you to their market funnel and keeping it all in the family in a sense, and they're going to want the outcome to protect their group. So, you're screwed before you got started even. Does that make sense? Beloved?
Yes.
You alright?
Yeah, I just have a headache.
Yeah, same. Did you take something?
Yeah.
So basically, I finished this to the best of my ability. You'll see it. And I'm also saying, be careful when you file complaints because of what happened to us with that one.
Yeah.
With that one, we've been successful in other areas. And these people are going to answer for what they did. But how they sterilize it along the way until they get it to where it's a phone call, and they just hit the mute button on their end, and that part that they said that can condemn them is, deleted or covered up. And they can say, I didn't say that, when they did. Mm-hmm. We had that happen with, it was a collection agency with something. And it was like, this shouldn't even be in collection. Very fraud-like. Do you hear this?
Yeah.
You know what? Why don't you call up the office and complain? Because we're not being loud enough to where that would be a hint drop, hey guys, shut up, type of thing.
Yeah.
They're like jumping. Mm-hmm. And it's coming across on the camera.
Probably, yeah.
I would. Here, take this. Here, I'll pass it over here. And call and complain and say, we're trying to make a nice little video and do our work professionally here, and they're jumping on our ceiling. Yeah. And say, if they want to see the recording, make sure you say this too. If they want to see and hear the recording, we are glad to share the copy with them and the link, because we're going to keep it intact. And say, this has to stop now.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing anything. There's no noise. There's no way they can hear us unless they actually use equipment to spy.
Yeah.
Which there is equipment that can do that. But anyway, you don't have to say all that. But
of course.
Yeah, be very thorough with it. Okay. Because this is BS now. No reason for this. Not very smart people, let me tell you something. So see, bump. This is non-stop. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, because we're still recovering from the accidents and everything. So we don't sleep for very long. It's like up and down, up and down, up and down. Taking over-the-counter pain medication, and it's just like, oh my gosh, they've been spraying so much bug spray, and it's like, where are the bugs? Nobody should have bugs this time of year. For any reason, it's too flippin' cold. And now we all have migraines. That's really interesting. You can kind of smell it though. It's pretty strong. Guys, just as an aside, there is very healthy alternatives to insecticide that doesn't harm you and doesn't harm your neighbors, doesn't harm the environment. And I'm very much proactive with that. This does not have to be going on. Plus, you also have to consider what is causing it. Is it because there's dirty housekeeping? Which is not housekeeping at all, but you get my point.